So I like to do these videos live. I'm gonna give people a moment to come in. I like to do them live because I like the option of having people have the opportunity to ask any questions that they may have or anything like that. So if you're watching this at a later time, that's what I'm really doing when I'm waiting in the beginning. I'm going to get started with my breath. It's something that I talk about every Sunday, and meditation and mindfulness is how you really incorporate it in your life is your breath. So we're going to start off by taking 3 deep breaths and acknowledging our breath because it is a form of self-love and you are alive and you are breathing, and that is a miracle and a gift. Okay, so we're going to breathe in. Release. And every time you release, make sure you're allowing your shoulders to drop. I don't know about you guys, but hi guys, thank you for joining. My breath is everything. You know, I used to hold my breath a lot. At some point, some of my medication I was on was anxiety medication because I was holding on to so much and didn't know how to really breathe and be present in the moment. So this week I wanted to talk about grief because I think that, and I posted something on it, and it was about the woman recognizing that her anger really wasn't her anger, it was grief. So sometimes we feel like we're feeling an emotion, and yes, I'm glad they help. Yes, your breath is so helpful. So sometimes we need a reminder to acknowledge and be mindful of the emotions and things we're feeling. A lot of times I notice the things I'm feeling because I'm a healer and I'm an empath have really nothing to do with me. And then other times I have to be present in them because sometimes we get into the habit of ignoring what we feel and acting like it'll just disappear, right? The peekaboo, playing peekaboo with the dark kind of thing. And once you acknowledge what you're going through and acknowledge what you're feeling, that's how you get to the root of it, and that's how you evolve. That's how you move forward. So I wrote down just a few things to help. Sorry about that, guys. To help with your grief, to help really acknowledge, I apologize, what you are feeling. So the first thing is seek and accept. If you are feeling unhappy, or if you are feel like no matter what's going on, even if it's positive things going on, happening, and you feel like, wow, I should be so much more grateful, or I should just keep moving forward, or this is what I need to focus on. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. Stop trying to avoid what you're feeling or block out what you're going through or not acknowledge where that feeling is coming from. You know, try to be present and be mindful of what's happening. So seek and accept. Seek help with your grief. You can't do this alone. Yeah, the energy's been so intense, guys. I haven't gotten to December readings because as far as on YouTube, and I'm not sure that I'm going to. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely honoring me and this intensity, right? And the reason I'm going into this too is because December energy is like the last shakeup. It's almost like I know that this is an analogy, the first thing that came to mind. You know, in movies and stuff, when you see someone getting bullied, and I'm sure this happens definitely in real life, or they're taking something from someone, and instead of like telling them or not believing them, like someone's getting robbed, and the money is like, they don't feel like the person took all the money out of their pocket, so they kind of hold them by the ankles and shake them down, right? So I'm saying that because it's almost like we're being shaken up. It's like, oh, you know, you have nothing left to give, or you have nothing left yet to let go of, right? So this is a time for us to, like, anything that no longer serves our highest good, or anything that's coming up, has to be dealt with, because 2019 is going to be beyond epic. This is our last month of this, basically this realm, this illusion we've been living, and we're on to a different way. We're on to a different type of life now, right? So dealing with your grief and acknowledging these feelings and things you're going through is so helpful. So you seek help, right? You go to counseling, you find a mentor, you read a book, you start journaling, whatever it is, you know, but you need help with it. And your accepting that this is what you're going through, right? Accepting that this is an area that you need to work on and that you need to acknowledge, because it's coming up so you can evolve. If you want this life that you have been dreaming of, or you talk about, or you're tired of seeing everyone else step into their power, or everyone else get what you want or what you feel you deserve, you have to come to some level of acceptance. And I know sometimes seeking help can be difficult, but seeking help is everything. And the universe will provide. Also, you guys know we live in a society that doesn't want you to express yourself. Right now, if you look about what's, like, you think about what's going on in the world, and all the trauma and the killings and the hating people for the color of their skin, or where they live, and judgment and all these different things, speaking your truth and expressing your truth is like a revolutionary act. And this is what needs to be done, especially this month of December. So you have to seek help and accept your grief, acknowledging your grief. So there's different levels of grief, and there's different types of grief. When I went through the change with my physical body that I've mentioned like so many times with you guys, I wasn't acknowledging that that's just like things weren't going to be how I wanted them to be as far as my body. I just kept saying, oh, I'm going to be healed, I'm healed, and everything's going to switch. And there's nothing wrong with putting that positive energy out there. But knowing you have this metal in my body, I had to come, and all this physical pain and these changes and how I used my mind and how I used my hands, I had to come to an acceptance of, you're still unlimited, Cynthia. It is your limited belief in your limitations now, right? So yeah, I have some physical limitations, but I'm still unlimited. I just have to go about things a different way. And when you acknowledge that, and that acceptance part of your grief, that's how you can move forward out of that place of grief. You know, grief comes when you lose a loved one, a relationship, your body changes, so many different things. So I feel like I recommend journaling so often, and I recommend you guys like self-care, self-love, and healing, because going to that dark part of you, and when you begin to stop acting like it doesn't exist, and you accept what you feel, not what someone has told you to feel. not what someone thinks you should feel or how they think you should go about it. When you accept that part, everything shifts. Everything shifts and everything changes. Yeah, it's dark and yeah, it gets scary, but once you are able to move past it, something different happens. I'm gonna pull some cards on some guidance on how we can move forward, and if you're dealing with grief, or how you can learn how to accept it. Yes, not blaming yourself and journaling and figuring out things aren't your fault, right? So, these are some on-point cards for us for this. The first card we got is the ear chakras. Notice messages that appear as sounds, music, and words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayers. So I feel like this card is definitely telling us what it said, but also to listen, to be conscious of what's happening around us. We get messages and signs all the time. A lot of times we're so stuck in our pain that we're ignoring them, or we don't feel like dealing with that now. Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that situation. You know, I'll face that in a little bit. I'll take it off layaway in a little bit. I'll keep making payments on it, or I'll keep looking at it, but I won't deal with it right now. So in order to help yourself deal with it, you know, you're being surrounded by helpful things and helpful messages to pull you out of it. You have to be open to receiving these answers. You have to be open and ask for guidance for it, and be open to what's coming your way. And messages come our way with animals, numbers, music, or people. You know, you may even find a business card somewhere and say, oh, wow, this is for this, and I actually really need it. That's your message, that it's time to deal with it. It's time to cope with it. Visualize success. See yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. So definitely I feel like, you know, this card is letting us know that if we visually see ourselves coming out of it, and understanding that your faith can literally move mountains, what you see and what you perceive is how far you're going to get. So visualize yourself coming out of this situation. Visualize yourself as an unlimited being. Close your eyes and see it. You know, don't be afraid to be creative and take that part of you, you know, like away. Sometimes we don't know how to move past the grieving process and past the pain because it becomes such a normal part of us. So visualize a positive outcome and know, like, I'm going to come out of this and things are going to turn around for me and be amazing. Listen to your intuitive feelings. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. Our body alerts us of so many things. You know how you'll read an article, or you'll hear something like, oh, these are symptoms of a heart attack, or these are symptoms of anxiety, or these are symptoms of a stroke, whatever it is. Yes, these are symptoms, right? Because your body is sending you a message. You're connected to, your soul this is where it lives, right? This is where it resides right now. So your body was given to you as an amazing, beautiful vessel that alerts you for everything you're feeling. So pay attention to those feelings. Pay attention to that anxiety when it's coming along, and really be willing and let God and let Spirit and angels know you're willing to receive whatever messages and whatever information you need to take in to move forward out of this space. The next card we got is the Third Eye Chakra. It is safe for you to see the energy of love in all of its forms, such as angels, auras, and visions. And that really is just like a perfect card for this, because it's letting you know that you're an unlimited being. And it's safe for you to trust this energy. It's safe for you to believe again. You know, we have children, or we're around children, and we're supposed to teach them so much, but they teach us everything because they're still so connected to the divine, to God, to source. They're still so connected to their soul because they haven't been conditioned and mistreated for so long or stuck in their pain. Children really know how to live. So if you're really having a difficult time, pay attention, and you don't have any children around, like, watch a cartoon, get in touch with that inner child. Yes, kids are angels, exactly. So it's safe for you to go back into that place again. It's okay to have to get to this space, you know, like, the world is so full of, like, people trying to feed their ego, and I feel like we definitely are more stepping into a time where people are honoring their soul, but we still have a lot of ego, and sometimes I have, you know, like, ego to move past, or I have to check myself and be like, yikes, that's your ego, cut it out, kind of thing. But honoring the ego is also a valid thing to do, just to understand that there's a great balance in everything, that it's all not bad, that you have to have the yin and the yang to be able to move forward. So like I said, I wanted to talk about this because I think that there's different levels of grief. You have to make sure you're honoring you and don't worry about what everyone else is thinking, or don't allow someone to tell you what to feel. And also, I feel like this needs to be said. Stop avoiding things because you're concerned about the reaction of others. And I know how difficult that can be, guys, because I was a people pleaser my whole life. And I felt like I needed to appease and help people see certain things. And that's just not what your divine purpose, you know? How someone's going to react to your truth is not your problem. You speaking your truth is your responsibility. There's different levels of grief, different levels of ways to cope with it. You're welcome. I used to worry about what everybody thought all the time, you know, and I don't do that anymore. And I make people aware that when they tell me how they feel about me honoring myself, I had someone not long ago tell me that I hurt their feelings because I didn't want them in a certain part of my life. And it's okay to say your feelings are not my responsibility. You know, you being uncomfortable with me honoring myself has nothing to do with me. Not like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. No, that has nothing to do with you. You know, ask for discernment and differentiate what you are carrying and what is not yours. And remember to speak to your angels, speak to God, ask for help, because they cannot interrupt free will, and we are so blessed with free will. I used to make jokes all the time and say, well, God is amazing, because if I was God, I would have made a bunch of robots, you know? Oh, I'm glad. Thank you so much. But, you know, how amazing is it to have the gift of free will and the power to choose. We just forget because of our pain how magical we are. So, does anyone have any questions? Sorry, I'm thirsty. When did I realize I was a healer and empath? I would say, well, I knew that well, when did I really acknowledge it? I would say not even a year ago. When did I really acknowledge my gifts, and know that this is something bigger and I had the power to be able to help other people? About 8 months ago, maybe 7.5, 8 months ago. I knew I had a gift because I constantly would see and spirits and see the dead, people who crossed over, and be able to communicate. But I went through a lot of different painful experiences in my life that kind of altered things and me seeing exactly what it was. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions about grief or anything? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, like I've only been doing what I'm doing with my gifts as far as a business 7.5, almost 8 months ago. Like, and so it just shows you when you honor you, the universe, you are supported. You are really supported, and it's amazing because when people honor their self, they'll come back to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, this happened, this is aligning, this is aligning." I know. So if you were made in God's image, right? Like it's so magical. If you were made in God's image, that means that that greatness you feel, He placed within you. That you're magical and you're amazing. You're part of part of God. You're part of the universe. And how amazing is that? We just forget because of our pain. So acknowledge and accept what you're going through, and don't allow people to talk you out of your feelings. Oh, thank you so much. I feel the same, and I'm so proud of your progress and all of you. And thank you guys for joining me. And I hope you have an amazing week. And remember to accept and acknowledge. There's so many levels, like I said, of grief. And it's okay to go through the process. And don't try to rush it. Don't try to move out of it so fast. I know, like, we like things to happen fast, but the magic happens when we really acknowledge and honor ourselves. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate you guys joining me. And I hope you guys remember that you are full of magic. And I love you all. And you're welcome. I'm going to pull one more card for the week ahead, and I'm going to end it. Thank you for the support, guys. Oh, part of the grieving process of any process. Be willing to forgive. Ask the angels to clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. I know this is hard. And sometimes we don't realize we're holding on to things. I had to forgive people, and this happens. Not for me. Forgiveness has nothing to do with anyone else. I had to forgive people that had that didn't feel like they did anything wrong, and that I never got an apology from, because I had to move forward. So in order to move forward out of your grief, you have to remember there is no blame. There is no pointing fingers at anybody. It's more of acknowledgement. Be willing to forgive yourself. I even forgave the man that molested me. I did. I forgave. I do, forgiveness mantras for people who have hurt me, people who have betrayed me, and I do forgiveness mantras for myself, because I don't have to allow any of those people in my life anymore. It happened. I want to move forward. And if you want to move forward, you have to forgive. So, does anyone have any more questions or anything? Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. It did take a lot of strength. It took a lot of strength to acknowledge it. It took a lot of strength to realize I had to forgive him and some other people that I went through certain different levels of abuse with. And, but it's not in me, and it does me a disservice by holding on, because when you forgive, you allow God to handle the rest. You allow the universe to take the wheels of karma and allow them to get served what they deserve. not only that, what people did to me didn't break me. I actually have found purpose in my pain, so I'm so grateful for that. And that's my hopes for anybody that I impact their life. My hopes are for all of you to evolve, remember your magic, and create this amazing life, you know, for yourself. So have a great week, guys, and I'll see you next Sunday.